You may not realize it yet, but your heart has been giving power to things and people who can never satisfy it. You've been chasing attention, approval, validation, love, and comfort from those who are temporary, imperfect, and incapable of giving what your soul truly craves. And because of this, you feel empty, restless, and constantly seeking. I want you to pause and reflect on this. How many nights have you stayed awake thinking about someone who does not care as much as you do? How many tears have you shed silently because someone you depended on failed to meet your expectations? How many times have you prayed for their presence, their attention, their loyalty, while forgetting the one who will never abandon you, the one whose mercy encompasses everything, the one who truly deserves your devotion? If you are ready to wake up and transform your perspective, type in the comments, "I love Allah" right now, because this simple action is your first step toward reclaiming your heart and redirecting it toward the source of true fulfillment. This message may change your life forever if you apply it seriously and reflect deeply. Most people live their lives thinking they need others to complete them. They believe that happiness depends on relationships, on recognition, on companionship, and when those things fail, as they inevitably do because humans are flawed, their hearts break, their faith is shaken, their trust in the Almighty Creator weakens. You may have been living like this for years, giving pieces of your soul to those who will never value them, thinking that without them you are nothing. Let me tell you the truth. You don't need them. You don't need anyone in the world to complete your heart. You only need Allah. Your soul was designed to find fulfillment in your Creator. Your satisfaction, your peace, your guidance, and your protection are found in Him, not in the temporary comfort of people who are imperfect, fickle, or incapable of understanding your heart. And if you are still seeking fulfillment elsewhere, you are walking away from the only source that can satisfy your deepest longing. Many believers do not understand this principle because they are trapped in attachment. Attachment is natural. It is part of our creation. But attachment becomes destructive when it replaces reliance on the Almighty Creator. When your dependency on people exceeds your dependency on Allah, you are building your life on sand. The wind of disappointment will destroy it. The waves of betrayal will drown it. The storms of misunderstanding will shatter it. And yet, so many people ignore this truth. They continue to invest their heart, their energy, their emotions, and their prayers into those who cannot reciprocate, who cannot protect, who cannot guide. Your Lord, the Lord of all, has warned us in the Quran that reliance should be upon Him alone, and He is sufficient for the believer. And this is why turning to Him is not optional. It is survival for your soul. You may ask yourself, but what about love, companionship, family, and friendship? These are blessings, yes, but they are conditional. They are temporal. They are limited. People will fail you. They will disappoint you. They will leave you, misunderstand you, or hurt you, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And when that happens, if your heart is not anchored in Allah, you will feel lost, abandoned, and empty. But if your heart is anchored in Him, their absence becomes insignificant. Their failure becomes a reminder of divine wisdom. Their distance becomes an opportunity to draw closer to the one who will never abandon you. And this is the lesson many of us are missing. People cannot fill the vacuum inside your heart that exists, because it is designed for the Creator alone. Now consider the times when you have been hurt the most, the betrayal that shattered you, the abandonment that left you sleepless, the neglect that made you question your worth, I want you to reflect carefully. In all of those moments, did your faith strengthen or weaken? Did you turn to people for answers, or did you turn to Allah? The truth is, many believers turn outward when they should turn inward and upward. They look to others to fill voids that only the Lord can fill. And this is why their hearts remain restless, unsatisfied, and vulnerable. The Almighty Creator's plan for you is far greater than any human can ever provide. If you redirect your heart, your attention, your prayers, your longing toward Him, you will discover a satisfaction that no person, no achievement, no circumstance can replicate. It is an unshakable peace, a light in the darkness, and a strength in weakness. Many people are addicted to dependency on others. They allow the opinions of friends, lovers, or family members to dictate their happiness. They sacrifice their spiritual practices for acceptance. They compromise their values for approval, and they lose themselves in the process. But the moment you realize you don't need them, you awaken. The moment you place Allah first, everything else begins to fall into alignment. You start seeing who is genuine, who is worthy, and who aligns with your purpose. You stop wasting your energy on people who drain you. You stop chasing recognition that is fleeting. You stop giving love to those who will never respect it. And you begin the transformation that elevates your soul above the limitations of worldly attachment. Some of you are still struggling because of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of judgment, fear of missing out, fear of loss. Let me speak directly to your heart. You will never lose anything that is truly meant for you. You will never be abandoned by what belongs to Allah. And the fear that consumes you is a trick of your own attachment, a temptation to place others above your Creator. When you shift your focus to Allah, this fear dissolves. Solitude becomes a sanctuary. Silence becomes a blessing. Absence becomes a pathway to reliance on Him. Your heart becomes protected, fortified, and illuminated. This is why the awareness of your own dependency on the Almighty is the first step toward liberation. I want you to see a truth that most believers ignore. The people you cling to, the ones you believe you cannot live without, are often the reason your heart is restless. They are the reason your mind is anxious, your faith is shaky, your prayers feel distant. And yet, you continue to seek them. You continue to prioritize them. You continue to invest in relationships that offer temporary relief, but permanent distraction. And this is why so many hearts are broken, so many prayers feel unanswered, so many believers feel lost. The Almighty Creator never intended for you to be dependent on what is impermanent. He intended for your soul to find its anchor in the eternal, in the one whose mercy never fails, in the one whose love never departs. And when you realize this, when you internalize this, everything changes. There are moments in your life when people will leave, betray, or abandon you. This is inevitable. And if your heart is not anchored in Allah, you will collapse. You will despair. You will question your worth. You will feel abandoned. But when your heart is anchored in Him, absence becomes an opportunity for growth. Betrayal becomes a reminder of divine wisdom. Disappointment becomes a lesson in trust. Loss becomes a tool for transformation. You begin to understand that the people you thought you needed were never necessary. They were distractions. They were tests. And the only one you truly need is the Lord of all, the creator of your soul, the guardian of your peace. The reality is, attachment to others is only beneficial when it does not overshadow your attachment to Allah. When it becomes a replacement, it is destructive. When it consumes your energy, it is dangerous. When it dictates your emotions, it is harmful. And this is why the believers who succeed in life are those who prioritize the Almighty above all else. They love people without dependence. They give without expectation. They care without losing themselves. They pray without distraction. And they experience a peace and satisfaction that the world cannot steal. And if you are listening now, I want you to take this seriously. Your heart is sacred. Your soul is precious. And the only one worthy of complete devotion is Allah. You might still resist, you might argue, but I love them, I cannot let go. Let me warn you, the heart that relies on others before Allah is vulnerable. It will suffer repeatedly. It will feel pain that is avoidable. It will lose faith in the process. And every day that you wait, every moment that you hesitate, every tear you shed for what is temporary, you are moving further from the peace that could have been yours the moment you surrendered fully to the Almighty Creator. Your liberation begins when you redirect your heart, your thoughts, your intentions, and your longing to Him. Everything else will follow in alignment. Everything else will fall into place. And if you act on this message, your life will shift in ways you cannot yet imagine. The last truth I want to share is this: you don't need anyone but Allah. You don't need approval, attention, affection, or validation from humans. You don't need them to love you, respect you, or honor your worth. You only need the one who created you, who knows your heart better than anyone else, and who will never betray, abandon, or mislead you. When your heart belongs fully to Him, everything becomes easier. Detachment from the unworthy becomes natural. Gratitude for blessings increases. Faith becomes unshakable. Love becomes pure. And peace becomes permanent. If you are ready, type in the comments, "I love Allah," and share the ways you will redirect your heart today. Let this be your declaration, your first act of spiritual awakening, and your commitment to never again rely on anyone before the Almighty.